Egan, how about at NinjaOne? Well, tell us about NinjaOne. What is NinjaOne? How do you fit into this?
When you opened, you said something about the normal mantra is to be boring.
Right,
It's
right.
yeah, that is kind of our mantra, right? We want to be invisible. Our job, our purpose for in existence is sort of to make the back end supporting infrastructure that any professional uses, whether it's a clinician or a business person, whoever it happens to be. We want to make the technology that they rely on completely invisible. In other words, they do their job, the technology does what it's supposed to do, and they sort of forget that it's there. They don't have to think about it because they can just go about their business. I think that's particularly true with clinicians, where the more time they are focusing on the patient, the better the outcome's going to be. It's pretty simple math in that regard. And so what NinjaOne does is, we're a unified endpoint management platform, but we try to bring next generational thinking to that. There's a lot of tooling out there that does things that we do. Our goal, and it's actually in our name, the reason that we chose the name for the company is that we wanted to be behind the scenes, invisible like a ninja, right?
Mm,
It's a little bit gimmicky, but it that is
I
our
get it. No, I
heritage,
like
right?
it.
Yeah. And so if you think about this from the perspective of healthcare, there's a million-ish beds in the United States. There's about anywhere from 10 to 15 devices, connected devices associated with each one of those beds. Those all have to be managed. The clinician has to be able to rely on those things. They just need to work, and the clinician should not be their work should not be impeded by us needing to manage those things. Um, Along with that, we have to keep them secure. We have to keep them up to date. All the things that you need to be able to do, so that the work that is happening behind the scenes is truly invisible both to the clinician and the patient, and we can not interfere with patient outcomes. That's ultimately why we exist. And so we take a very pragmatic approach to that. Our goal in life, our engineers are sort of hyper focused on how can we compress the timeline necessary to do the things that need to be done that could be disruptive on the endpoint. Because let's face it, there are a lot of sort of competing priorities there. If you look at the new binding operational directive that was released on June 10th, the CISA has now accelerated time to patch on the top, call it 1% of critical vulnerabilities. From originally it was 30 days, then they compressed it to 2 weeks. Now it's compressed to 3 days, 72 hours.
Hmm.
That is doing things in the legacy way with legacy tools and adhering to legacy change management processes. That's a recipe for disaster. A lot has to change in order to meet that. That said, it's the right decision. CISA did the right thing here, but I think the onus is now on us as the vendor community to work together with our government counterparts to say, here's how we can meet those new requirements in a responsible way, and in particular in this setting, in a way that doesn't interfere with clinician patient interaction. That's sort of the ultimate goal here, and something that we
Amen.
need to work very hard on.